Hi, scholars. It's Mrs. Gibbons with your shout out and our week in review for the week of October 12th, 2020, which was last week. For Dreambox, these scholars completed 5 or more Dreambox lessons last week. Gabby had 30, James with 29, Brianna with 28, Siani with 25, Janai with 12, Shiloh with 9, Emily with 8, Leah with 8, King with 7, Janelli with 6, Ahmad with 6, and Edward with 5. We had a class total of 172 Dreambox lessons this week. So again, boys and girls, nice job on getting those lessons done. For Imagine Learning, these scholars completed 20 minutes per day or had a total of 120 minutes for the week. Siani, Janai, Janelli, James, Emily, Gabby, and Brianna. So nice job to these scholars making sure they got on Imagine each day. Perfect attendance for the week. Leo, Emiliana, Pilar, Janai, Edward, Janelli, James, Emily, Gabby, JC Lynn, King, Brianna, and Shiloh. Thank you again to these scholars for coming each week, making sure they are there every day ready to learn. Our week in review for ELA. In our phonemic awareness and phonics skills, we practiced identifying the middle and ending sounds in words. We identified which word had a different ending sound in a set of words. We reviewed short E, short O, and short U, and we played short vowel bingo. In writing, we reviewed parts of a sentence. Every sentence has a capital letter or begins with a capital letter, has finger spacing between words, and includes punctuation at the end of each sentence. We did our picture of the day. We talked about what we see and what we think when looking at the pictures, and we practiced building sentences. In our comprehension skills, we reviewed nouns. We read changing seasons and how do you know it's fall. And then we discussed the different seasons. We read there was an old lady who swallowed some leaves. And on Friday, we did a dictated drawing of a scarecrow to go with that story. In our small groups, we worked on a bunch of different things. Some students worked on the letters T, V, W, Q, Z, and I. Some worked on ending and middle sounds in words. We wrote CVC words. We all worked on our most common words, lists 1 through 3, and some of us worked on our reading fluency. In math this past week, we talked a lot about subtraction. So some of the vocabulary words we talked about were counting back, less than, fewer than, smaller than, and take away. We also talked about strategies to solve subtraction problems, such as counting back. You can use your fingers, you can use a number line, or you can draw a picture. The math routine that we did this week was start with and get to, where you start with a number and then you count back to get to a smaller number. We played our math games roll and record, 5 in a row, 1 or 2 less. We had played them earlier in the year with addition. Now we're playing them as subtraction. And for our skills and practice, we worked on solving story problems that involved in subtraction. We counted 1 to 50 forward and backwards, and we also practiced counting up to 120. Some of our favorites this week definitely was the short vowel bingo. We played that pretty much every day. Find something scavenger hunt. We celebrated Breast Cancer Awareness Day and our hero, Mrs. Gerhardt. We did a scarecrow drawing, and I introduced students to Jamboard, which is an application in Google that you can draw and move things around. So we did a cat versus dog activity, and we also colored fall pictures. And in small group, one of us worked on word families. Here are a few pictures from Friday on our Spirit Day. And just a few changes coming this week. In math intervention, same when we come back from lunch. Some students will go with Miss Cooper Taylor starting on Monday. Some students will work with Mrs. Gibbons, and some students will work independently. And I will go over that with the scholars on Monday. Also this coming week, On Fridays, we will now be doing science and social studies, so there will be no small groups for ELA or math. We will focus on science and social studies activities as a whole group. Materials for next week, again, the same as every day: Chromebook and iPad, or an iPad, whiteboard and your marker, a pencil, crayons, paper, and your math workbook if you prefer to do some pages in your math book instead of doing it on Seesaw. Once again, thank you for all of your hard work and support each and every week, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I look forward to seeing everybody on Monday morning. Bye, everyone.